NHL Nightly with your host, the Sportsman, a.k.a. Pierre Lebowski, a.k.a. Jeremiah Maxwell. And with him, as always, maybe Pearlo, Wisdom, and Rico in Barry.
Hey, what's up? What's up? How's everybody going? Welcome to this post-free agent frenzy. Do some draft grades, talk about some stuff. Been a couple signings just recently. I saw Jack Johnson signed in his home. It's where he lives. Columbus, 1-year deal, like $700K. So he's off the list there. I don't think he was in the top 25 of available free agents, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna do who hand out some draft grades or not draft. We did talk about draft, and that can be a part of this. But free agent grades, what you liked, winners and losers. I've got my winners and my losers up behind me, and I will kick it off, and then we'll just kick it right over to Rico, and we'll kick it over to Mike, and then you just give your grades. So I'm going to start. I think the winner, unequivocally, of this free agency is the Edmonton Oilers. They bring back their third line. They get a backup goalie, and then they get Jeff Skinner. I think Jeff Skinner is such a good skater. He's going to fit in so well there. And if they don't get Evander Kane back, I think Skinner is a guy that can fill that role for him. And in fact, they may not want Evander Kane back because right now they're above the cap, so they're going to have to make a trade. And it might be easier to move Evander Kane than it would be to move like a Cody Ceci or whoever else they got to trade there. So I loved what Edmonton is, and I'm saying this right now on the 2nd of July, 2024, the Edmonton Oilers are going to win the Stanley Cup. They're going to do exactly what the Florida Panthers are going to end the Canadian curse, and they're going to win the Stanley Cup, and they are the winners of the free agency. I like what they did. I know some people were down on bringing Corey Perry back. Why? I mean, even if you don't skate him every day, he's going to be a veteran leader in there that knows how to win. I mean, yeah, the guy's lost 4 Stanley Cups, but he's won one. He's won a Hart. He's the kind of guy you want in the locker room. You know, I mean, even if he doesn't play every game. In fact, if I'm them, I don't do anything. So, Pearlo, since you're just joining us, what we're doing is we're just going our winners and losers of free agency. And I just said my winner is Edmonton. I love what they did. They're going to win the Stanley Cup. They are my pick. If I had $1,000, I'd bet it right now on Edmonton to win the Stanley Cup next year. I feel like this has got to be their window because the West isn't getting easier. So, yeah, I'm getting some feedback from somebody, so I'm hearing myself, so I might mute mics here. That's my winner, the Edmonton Oilers. I got them above me. And Nashville I know is everybody's perennial loser. This is my hot take. I don't like what Nashville did outside of Brady Shea. They basically have 3 of the same player now. They have 3 left wings that shoot right, and Stamkos, Forsberg, and Jonathan Marchessault. I don't like it. I think they didn't. You want to bring in Stamkos or Marchessault, makes sense. Love the Brady Shea signing. Love it. Great signing. Doesn't think it was an overpay. Thought it was right about where he would get. Guys under 30, still, I think, a great defenseman. And you got Roman Josi there. You got other defensemen. They still got really good defensemen on that team. So I don't know that they needed to bring in Marchessault and Stamkos. I know everybody's handing them the win. And I think Tampa made a mistake not bringing, not looking for a right shot guy if they were. I don't like Gensel for them in the power play. He's going to replace Stamkos essentially, but he's a left shot. It's not going to work the way they run that power play. And I would argue they have had the second best power play in the last decade behind only the Oilers. And the Oilers is just ridiculous. So those are my loser for free agency has got to be Anaheim. They didn't even get to the cap floor. They're making some signings, but they just couldn't. And I heard they were in on Stamkos, everything. They just didn't sign anybody. I feel bad for them. So, I liked what the Sharks did too. I know everyone's like, oh, they gave Wennberg $5 million. They have to get to the cap floor. So they're another team that's got to get to the cap floor. So I don't mind a Wennberg. He's a good defensive center. He's going to not score a ton for you, but I think he's going to keep more goals out than he's going to let in when he's on the ice. And I like him as a player. And honestly, I think he could do better with more minutes, and he'll get them there in San Jose. I don't mind having him there. And good for him getting a $5 million deal. I think I'm kind of confused what Ottawa's doing, but I will say I did like the deal that they just got done right before we went live, 2-year, 3.75 a year for Shane Pinto. What a deal. And that really makes him a tradable asset too, since, the rumors are that he won't be resigning after this deal. He won't have to. It'll be a UFA. So I would have offer sheeted Pinto if I was a general manager. So Rico, why don't you give your winners and losers, who you like the best and who you didn't like, and then we'll kick it over to Mike, and then Steve Pearlo Wisdom can give us. He can finish us off. So go ahead, Rico.
Yeah, man. Well, yeah, Tampa lost a right-handed chop, but just to slide that in real quick is Cam Atkinson at $900K for 1 year to Tampa is a sneaky, not bad deal. But my winner in the trade deadline, one of them I liked was what New Jersey did, starting in net and just going right out to the decor, adding Markstrom and Pesce from Carolina, then adding Brendan Dillon from Winnipeg, and just throwing Stefan Nason in there too. I kind of like what sneaky moves New Jersey did, so that was kind of my winner from the deadline. And the loser from the deadline, I'm not going to go with a team like Anaheim or somebody that I know it's not going to compete. I'm going to go with a team that's basically trying to compete for a cup, and they have been for so long. And for them to go so backwards on this deadline is the Carolina Hurricanes, man. They lost pretty much all their UFA. Sure, they signed Sean Walker to a 5-year deal, re-up Martinook, but I mean, other than Yost and Gostisbehere, like couple depth guys, Carolina just lost it, starting with Gensel walk in there, and I just think they didn't have the best trade deadline, in my opinion.
My only rebuttal, and I don't disagree with you, is I like what Carolina has in their system, and I feel like they won't fall off because of the way they play.
Well, they need a goaltender too. That's another thing.
Yeah, I mean, I like Kochetkov. I like Kochetkov though, man. Like, I feel like
hopefully he's ready.
Yeah, I mean, I hear you. I mean, I think your criticism is wholeheartedly fair. They bungled that Jake Gensel thing for sure. They should have signed him 8x8. That would have been. I liked Gensel there. He made sense. He already knew the system. I thought he played insanely well in the playoffs. He's a great playoff performer. So, but that's just my rebuttal. Go ahead, Mike. Let's kick it off with yours.
So I actually thought Dallas had a great couple of signings, strengthening up the back end with Bufflin. I thought that was a great signing for them. I think that's what was their issue, was that third pair in the playoffs, or at least with
they signed. You said Bufflin. You mean Labushkin?
Yeah,
Labushkin. You mean Ilya Labushkin? Yeah.
Yeah, I can't. English not my strength, everyone.
No, you're okay. You bungle the name every once in a while, and it's okay. I was trying to process where it is. No, dude, you're great, Mike. We love your hockey analysis.
No, I thought Dallas did a good job. They got a couple of cheap D-men, but I am totally drinking the Nashville Kool-Aid. I threw some money on them to win the West, win the Presidents, and spread it out. I think they needed more offensive weapons to get through. I thought that's why Vancouver beat them, as Nashville just straight up couldn't score.
I don't disagree with that at all. And in the playoffs, it could make a difference. But go ahead.
They had one line. Nashville only had one line.
Well, they got more than that now. That's for sure.
Well, they have one side of the ice covered. And
yeah, that's my issue. That's my only issue.
I think they're going to move someone into the middle. So they'll have two lines.
Stamkos can play center. They just never asked him to do it in Tampa. I would play him there if I was Nashville, honestly.
If so, you're saying this, one of them's going to move to center, and I think that'll give them two great lines, and then they'll bump someone down so the third line gets a little bit better that way. So that's why I love Nashville. But I thought Dallas, having two very cheap defensemen sign on, I thought they were the like sneaky winner.
So we have a question in the chat before you go into your losers real quick, and I'll answer it. Sod asked what we think of DeBrusk. I'll let everybody go on this. I like it, Sod. I thought it was maybe a little bit much money, but I think DeBrusk puts up in the playoffs. I think if you get 17 from that guy in the regular season, you get 15 in the playoffs from him. Like he's a guy I like. So, Mike, what do you think of DeBrusk, and then go into your loser?
So
you did kind of
he cried a lot in Boston wanting to get out, so happy to see him leave.
Yeah. I didn't get the impression Bruins fans were that sad to see him go.
Some of us popped champagne. I definitely didn't do that when I saw he signed. That definitely didn't happen. I think he's going to do fine in Vancouver. He needed out of Boston. Donato needed out of Boston. He did well. I think he's the next Donato. Basically, he's going to leave Boston, and he's going to have a great regular season and playoffs when Vancouver gets there.
Yeah, that's a sneaky good signing. I thought it was a slight overpay, but I felt like they missed out on Gensel. But I really like DeBrusk. He's a little streaky in the regular season, and I did feel like. I think when he wanted out of Boston, Mike, to be fair to him, was when Cassidy was there, and I think he wasn't the only one. And I think that all changed once Jimmy Montgomery was there, and I don't think he had those issues.
No, he still said it like beginning of this past season, he wanted out.
Oh,
I was just like, all right, like whatever, dude, like just get out. Like people were kind of just sick of his crap here.
Okay,
he didn't get the celebrity treatment that other guys got when you see him around town.
Okay, give us your loser or losers of the trade, the free agent frenzy, July 1st. Obviously, there's still some availables, and I can run through those when we'll get done. When Pearlo gives his, I'll give you guys who's kind of out there. The top remaining guys are unsigned. Go ahead, Mike.
So I was big on Detroit going in, and like I wish they did more. I like the Gustafsson stuff, but I'm like, I was hoping they'd patch everything up. I thought they were a playoff team last year. They should have been.
They barely missed it, though. I mean,
barely missed it means they missed it, man.
Yeah, but they're getting their Edmonton. I feel like we're forgetting that they have all this young talent that's ready to start playing. Like
I think they win the cup in 27-28. I think that's their cup, but I wish they would. I thought they were going to do more, but I mean, it worked in Tampa when Stevie Y ran it, so maybe maybe I should stop ragging on Stevie Y.
Yeah, no, I love it. Okay, Pearlo, why don't you give us who you loved at the free agent frenzy and who you didn't care for? Here, I gotta unmute you here, Pearlo. You're muted.
Oh,
I got you. You're good.
First of all, Marchessault played right wing in Florida, and he'll play. He can play right wing as good as he does left wing. So
I know, but I'm just saying they're all right wing. They're all right-handed shots. Perlo, Stamkos is a right-handed shot. Forsberg is a right-handed shot, and so is Marchessault. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I guess you got a point there, but I still think Nashville knocked it out of the park pretty good there with what they did.
I love Shea. I mean, I think they're a better team. I'm just saying, I just don't think it's the W that everybody's saying. But please go ahead.
Yeah, I would put it up there as a win for Nashville, no doubt about that. Edmonton Oilers, I love the Arvidsson move as long as he can stay healthy.
Great. I didn't even talk about Arvidsson. That's a great signing.
As long as he's healthy, that's the thing. Yeah,
that guy's a point per game player almost. That's how good he is. I think he had 16 points or something in like 11 games played or something this year.
And he's one of the better two-way wingers in the game. So he's going to work really well with Draisaitl, who doesn't do any of that. Skinner at $3 million, I don't mind it. Put him up with McDavid because McDavid can help him on the defensive side because Skinner doesn't do anything defensively.
But he's a very good skater, though. That's what's great about being with McDavid. McDavid will put that thing right on his tape. He won't have to. He's gifted offensively, Skinner, and a very good skater. The defensive shit, I don't think they need from him.
Well, I personally think you always need it. I don't want players like Skinner on my team, but at $3 million, I'll go with it, I guess, as long as McDavid's just going to have to work harder on the defensive side. So that's all I got to say about that because he does nothing. He has all three zones. He has no clue. All he knows is shoot the puck. He's better than Kane. So at $3 million, you're doing pretty good there. I thought they did well, but I'm going to go to your Washington Capitals, Matt. I thought they did fantastic this offseason.
I didn't want to be that. I didn't want to be that guy. I mean, I liked what they did. I just didn't want to be that guy and be like, "Look what my team did." So I'm glad one of you guys picked it.
So I'm going to say Washington did extremely well here. Mangiapane is a great two-way player. I trust Carberry enough to get the best out of Dubois there. I think he knows how to work with each player and what makes them tick. So I don't think he's going to put too much pressure on Dubois. He's just going to let him play. And if he's a 50 to 60 point guy, he's overpaid, but they didn't have that before. So still, if that's what he is, it's really not bad at all. You know, they got Jacob Chikrin. I thought that was a really decent move. And Matt Roy was a really good move.
I like that a lot. I like that a lot.
He might be a little overpaid here, but not too much. He's a really good defensive guy. He can play with Sandin. I really liked what Washington did. I thought they kind of knocked it out of the park as well. I don't know if I would put him as the top team, but right up there. I think they make the playoffs for sure next year based on the moves that they make.
Just as good as Carberry did with that roster and what we could potentially, Ryan Leonard may come in and play too. Like Sonny Milano, if he's healthy, he's a 20-goal guy. Like he wasn't healthy. So who did you not love what they did?
Before I go on, I agree with Rico on New Jersey. I thought New Jersey did some really good stuff there. So who did I not? I don't like what Boston did at all. Lindholm is way overpaid. Way overpaid.
Didn't they get him at like 7 something?
8.5 or something like that.
I thought it was 7.
He's a tweener 2-3, and they paid way too much for him. Zadorov, I like him as a player. Don't get me wrong, but $5 million for 6. I don't know about that.
I think he's just coming into his own. Pearlo, to be honest with you.
Maybe you're right. I mean, I don't hate it as much as I hate the Lindholm. I think the Lindholm is the reason why I say they lost. Los Angeles didn't do nothing, and they needed to. And
they added Joel Edmondson and I don't know.
And Edmondson's severely overpaid.
They paid him a lot.
And Jeannot.
Edmondson,
Jeannot, and Kemper with the Dubois trade. So, like I said, they didn't do anything.
Kemper will do good for them, though. I think Kemper will do good for them. I think Kemper will be the starter for them because they don't have Talbot coming back. They've just got Rittich. So I think Kemper will be good. He's been there. He was there before. I think he's kind of worked his stuff out. I think he knows, like, he's a buyout candidate if he doesn't do well, you know? So –
yeah, we can agree. I think he's just a more expensive Talbot. That's what I.
That's fair. But go look at the numbers though. Goaltending was not a problem for LA this year. It was on
Talbot
the defensive end.
Talbot was actually not too bad. I have to.
He was at the All-Star game, and he was at the All-Star game. He fell apart the second half of the season, but he was unbelievable the first half. Remember how good they won like 12 in a row on the road or something?
We didn't even talk about Utah, who got Sergachev and Marino. I thought those were some great pickups. I think Sergachev is a little overpaid, but based on what their defense line is, he is certainly a huge upgrade and certainly.
Well, and you know what?
And then they got Ian Cole too. That was a great pickup.
I'll just say this. Yeah, I'll just say this. With Utah, I actually like the trade for Tampa anyway because they extended Hedman today, 4 years, $8 million. That was another reason you had a decision to make. You're going to keep Stamkos at money or Hedman. I think they're killing this general manager. I actually think he made the right choice. I would have Hedman is younger and more generational player. I'm not saying Stamkos, but Stamkos has been there 16 years. He's injury prone. I think a 4-year deal, this 4-year deal for them is risky, man. But I'm just saying, like, if I'm Brisebois, I make the same choice. It's a difficult choice, but you make it. It sucks. We're in the salary cap era. If we weren't, fucking Tampa would probably be a $200 million team, man, because people want to live there and shit. We would hate Tampa. They'd win 5 cups in a row. They're ridiculous. I mean, they still have Kucherov, Point, Cirelli, I like their team still. And then you said their signing of, it was a cheap one that just happened.
Cam Atkinson.
Yeah, that's a right winger that can score 30 freaking goals, man. Like, there's your guy on the power play, and you don't have to ask anything else of him, Pearlo. I see you shaking your head like, oh, he's not good. And why would Flyers buy him out? But dude, there's a lot of guys who didn't play great and go to a good team and play incredible.
I don't think Tampa's a good team, and they're my loser as well. I think they did terrible. I think they did terrible. I don't like their team anymore.
You don't like the Gensel signing at all, huh? You don't think Gensel, who scores like 2 points per game in the playoffs?
Who is he going to play with? Point? Okay, I guess you're going to play him with Point because he'll
play with Kucherov.
Kucherov. Okay, so you're not going to play defense at all, because he has no idea what he's doing in 3 zones defensively at all. Crosby is a guy that made that guy what he was, and now he's going to go somewhere else. He's going to have to play with Point.
He scored at a really good pace with Carolina, Pearlo. That is untrue statement. Look at his numbers with Carolina.
He's a good offensive guy. He just from the offensive blue line in, love Gunsel. Except for the fact that he doesn't know when to take chances, when not to take chances. He only plays one way, and that is it. And like, if they want to play him with Point's going to be frustrated as hell the whole freaking season, having to play with Gunsel.
Last kid, by the way, Greg in Copley, he re-signed with the Kings.
Anyways, okay, I wanted to say the most underrated pickup of the free agency was Kovacevic by the New Jersey Devils for what, like virtually $766,000. That was an amazing pickup. He's better than he's as good, or if not better than Brett Pesce. I think so. I thought that was the most underrated pickup out there for a very low price. I don't even know why he went there, to tell you the honest truth. Like, if I were him, I would have went somewhere else. I don't know why Montreal would have gave him up, except for the fact they got a lot of young defensemen coming up.
Yeah, they're trying to add assets too. Like, they know they're a ways out in Montreal. But by the way, Montreal signed their young gun Slafkovsky to an extension. I don't know if we talked about that. They're betting that, that
was a great signing.
You liked it. You liked it. Okay. I saw some pundits saying maybe a little early. Gord Stellick, I don't know Rico, you were going to say something. Go ahead.
I was just saying, going back to Tampa with Sergachev, I think that Brisebois looked at Sergachev with those 2 injuries, and I think they're just wiping their hands clean with this guy, thinking he's not going to be the same player he was before, and being able to just cut him loose now, I think is going to save them in the long run with that player. So that's all. Saravelli was on 590 earlier speaking about that, saying that I think they just saw Sergachev rehabbing from that injury and coming back, and he just wasn't the same player. And to give that guy kind of money, he's going to handcuff him down the road, I think so.
Well, for Tampa, they needed the cap space anyway because they wanted to bring in Gensel, and they also wanted to re-sign Victor Hedman. Thus, your casualties are Sergachev and not re-signing Stamkos. I think they made the right choice on not re-signing Stamkos, but I don't like the Gensel signing. I think he's not a fit there. That's my only thing. I think he should have stayed in Carolina. I think that would have been a great. But he looked good for them in the playoffs. He looked really good. I don't think he was the reason they lost. So, Salty, what's up?
Nobody wants to talk about it, but Hedman has not been himself the last 2 years. He really is.
No, that's fair. But Pearlo, who would you keep if you're the general manager? Stamkos or Hedman?
I'm trying to look up Hedman now. I forget. Just 1 second.
I mean, you just know you're going to keep the younger, taller defenseman, the guys that Norris candidate almost every year. I agree.
He's been fading pretty hard, though. Like, he hasn't really been. I don't know. I mean, there's a reason why they didn't bring Stammer back. I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that he has been one of the guys. I personally think that the reason why they didn't bring Stamkos back is they have a culture there of taking less. And Stamkos has always pushed the envelope when it comes contract time all the time, and he's their captain. So yeah, I mean, you got to remember the last contract, he pushed it like almost into the regular season to get as much money as he could. I personally think that's the reason why they got rid of him, because they want players there that are going to take less, do it for the team, and there's a lot of players that did it. I mean, Hedman did it. But I don't think Stamkos ever really did it. He got the number he thought he was worth, and he wanted the number he was worth this time, and that's the reason why.
And Hedman only took 4 years too, so it's not.
Yeah, I mean, if Stamkos takes the 3-year, $8 million deal, which would have been the same as an 3x8, and he gets paid for 8 more years, and maybe he doesn't play the last 2 or 3 years, but he gets basically the same money. I don't know why you wouldn't take that. Like, so is it an ego thing? I know he had 42 goals, but you just say, Steven, this is what we're doing. We get it. Yeah. We want to keep you. You're our captain. You've been with us 16 years. You're our only number 1 overall pick. Fucking, again.
You won the scoring title twice.
Brisbane Iserman didn't draft Victor Hedman. That was Brian Lawton. They owe him because he drafted Stamkos and Hedman. So Hedman is the guy I keep in that scenario all the time. I'm sorry. You cannot find defensemen like that. And I'm not saying Stamkos is a great player. He's also 34 and he's been injury prone. So I'm just saying, like, I think he turns 35 during the season next year.
So is Hedman of late, and honestly, I think he's way
Pearlo, overrated. You know, defensemen can age so much better than forwards. You know this. Chara played good until his final few years.
I think Hedman is way overrated the last 3 years. Way overrated.
That's fine. Go ahead, Mike. Go ahead.
I think Hedman's great. I'm not going to knock him. I think the Lightning use him too much, and I am with Pearlo that he fades a little bit.
I don't disagree. I'm not disagreeing with Pearlo's statement. Obviously, man, they haven't been winning cups. If he's playing at an elite level or like a Chara level, they're going farther. They're not losing in the first round. Now, granted, they lost to the Stanley Cup champions in the first round. But I also will say this, and I argued this, and I thought it was a good move by Florida to win the division on the last day. I thought they matched up better against Tampa. I thought Tampa would have struggled against the Bruins. Or would have done well against the Bruins, excuse me. And you know, I actually thought the Leafs could beat the Bruins. No offense, I didn't think the Bruins team was. I didn't think that Bruins team was that particularly good. So you know, I don't know, man. I feel like Tampa's just right there. I agree that Gensel might not have been the right signing. I mean, that was my thought. I just thought this guy doesn't make sense on their power play. Stamkos was a right shot. You're going to have to move Point there. Well, Point doesn't have the shot that Point's an inside guy, like a Zach Hyman type. So, you know, that's why I like Edmonton. I liked everything they did, man. I know they lost Desharnais. Did he sign what he signed? Did Desharnais sign with LA too? Did he not? Oh, Vancouver. That's a nice pickup by Vancouver. I liked what Vancouver did. I do think they overpaid for
Joshua.
No, I didn't. No, I liked the Joshua deal. I thought that deal was actually like right where it's probably. I thought he got less than I was expecting him to get. To be honest with you, I thought he was going to get like 4 or 5. I thought they get him a really good.
I love the DeBrusk move. That was a great move.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I like the DeBrusk signing, Pearlo, but I thought it was it's the tinge high for the salary for me. I think if you had DeBrusk at like 6'5", I'm like, oh, I love it all day. But like this is the salary cap.
It might be a little high, but
it's going up. I don't think it's going to affect them. It's not going to affect them. Yeah. I actually, dude, I watch out. Like if Edmonton is going to have a fucking hell of a time with this, if that Canucks team is healthy, you've got Demko. They bring in, you know, I liked their signings. Desharnais kind of is a good replacement for Zadorov. And you don't have to pay him as much, you know. I don't think he's as gifted as Zadorov. And Zadorov, remember the playoffs, was a fucking monster. He scored like two or three goals that were like GWGs or something. He was jumping into the play so well. I'm a huge fan of I'm a huge fan of him, man. I like him. So I think he's gonna play well in Boston. I think it's a little bit of an overpay, but I thought for sure the Elias Lindholm deal was cheaper deal.
Any centerman coming to Boston knew they had us.
Yeah. I mean, I like Lindholm though. His brother's there.
Oh, he's great.
Yeah, he's a very versatile player.
We're excited to have him, but any centerman coming to Boston knew they could say whatever.
The thing, Mike, is bringing Lindholm to Boston. Then you could probably move Zach over to the wing where he's played his best hockey as well too.
Their depth chart's already showing him as a winger now. Like that's something they posted to this afternoon. So, and you're right.
Yeah, I was going to push back on you a little bit on Dallas. I don't know Matt Dumba. But I will tell you, and this is we didn't talk about Toronto, the elephant in the room. I really wondered why Dallas didn't re-sign Hakanpää, because that one was a head scratcher to me. I think they could have got him for the same amount. I've heard Hakanpää's knee is destroyed. And that Toronto signed him with the thought that he may not actually play for them, but he might be a nice weapon to have if he gets back. Now, this is what I'll say. The Leafs have the best medical in the entire NHL. They got Nathan Gerbe back on track, kind of fixed his career, honestly. I think they would have got, if Muzzin would have played 3 or 4 years earlier for the Leafs, I think he would still be playing. They have very good. So if anybody can get this kid on the ice, it's that Leafs medical staff. And that's a nice gamble. Plus, if he's injured, LTIR, you get that 1.5 million break. So that helps Toronto with a little bit of flexibility. I actually love what Treliving's done. He's brought in a lot of big defensemen. But I'll say this, and Rico, this is also the elephant in the room. Toronto was not bad defensively. They did great. They couldn't score in the playoffs. That's why they lost. It wasn't because they were bad defensively. I thought they got solid goaltending. I thought they got good defensive play from their forwards and their D in the playoffs. They just couldn't score. You didn't see anything from Marner. And I know that they had injuries with Nylander and Matthews, so they were missing those guys. So that sucked too. Hey, Derek, how's it going? You liked OEL and OEL. I thought OEL was a sneaky good signing for them and not for any money. And he was mean and nasty in the playoffs. He looked like he found a different game. I mean, that guy's nowhere near the guy that was in Vancouver that won the cup with. So I thought that was a good signing. Stolarz too, Salty. I liked that signing for the Leafs. I liked what the Leafs did. I didn't think they were the huge winners, but also Pearlo, Capital signed Brandon Duhaime too. That was a nice little signing.
Yeah, I thought the Capitals did really well. It had been it's kind of, to me, it's like between Nashville and Washington.
Taylor Radish too, 1 year, $1 million. They're still good at fourth line.
Great depth guy. Yeah, I thought.
I'm telling you, Pearlo, that's why the Capitals make the playoffs. They have a good coach, and they roll 4 lines, and you got 4 good lines that can score. Nick Dowd, it's going to be good. I mean, they're going to miss Mallenstein's two-way play. He's going to be great for Buffalo, by the way, too. I know people are like, oh, but I was like, nah, I think that's a good pickup for them. Like they have enough skill in Buffalo's lineup. They need a little bit of gritty two-way forward guys. So I actually did not hate that for them.
No, Mallenstein's very underrated two-way bottom.
Yeah, I thought that was a good pickup for Buffalo. People were like, "Oh, this is an overpay."
They just don't. They don't know what
Pittsburgh's getting Pearlo's all Pearlo team together with Matt Grzelcyk and
I love it.
I know. I like.
What are they doing? We could have called them losers too.
I actually like Grzelcyk Rico, so that's not true. But yeah.
I know a lot of Boston fans had mixed feelings about Grzelcyk. I think, Mike?
I mean, as a person, he walked to the rink, but skill wise, he was our 7th guy, and you would argue he should be in the lineup or shouldn't, but. And also, it was a pissing contest. Was he a 6 or a 7? That was about it. But no one hated him. Good locker room dude.
Derek, I've been asking this question all fucking day to everybody that would listen in the media, and I could not get an answer. What in the absolute H is Anaheim going to do? They are $9 million. I think they signed somebody today for like $900K, so they're $8.1 million under the cap floor.
You know what happened with Anaheim? Anaheim went big game hunting with Stamkos, and Stamkos would not sign with Anaheim. I heard Saravelli say it on Fan 590.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true. That's true. Also, they did trade. They did trade for Brian Dumoulin. Oh, I heard that too, Rico. I heard that too. But Stamkos wants to go to a team he believes has a fucking chance to win a championship. It wasn't all about money with Stamkos, but it was enough about money that because he could have caved on it too. I mean, like the guy's made over $100 million in his career. It's like, I don't feel bad for you, buddy. Like,
listen, man, California's not the state of hockey anymore. They got a high tax. The teams suck over there right now. None of them are ready to win a cup.
California tax is comparable to Canadian tax. Yeah, California tax is comparable.
But Tennessee has no state tax, so to go to the
right, Washington has no state tax either, though. Like the Seattle Kraken, people are like, I was like, they don't have a state. They have a state sales tax, 6.5% sales tax. But Tennessee has most states have a sales tax. If they don't have a state income tax, they easily have a sales tax, and they might have like Floridians will tell you they pay for it in fucking property taxes and sales taxes, not having a state income tax. They get your money anyway. It's just a matter of what it's under. Do you know what I'm saying?
Like said, it's expensive to live in Nashville, but there's no state tax, so it all works.
Right, but the property taxes are through the frickin' roof, and then they have sales tax because it's a touristy place and stuff too. So, I mean, it's no cheaper anywhere. I mean, like it all evens out. If you know how to invest and do taxes in Canada and the U.S., I think it's the biggest cop-out bullshit thing of all time, Rico. You know, because there are things you can write off to pay less taxes, and I know that's
tired of like the higher ups in hockey media. They keep fucking talking about it and bringing it up every time you hear somebody sign.
They're crying, man. They're crying because Canada pays too high a tax. Well, fuck, there's a way to fix that, Canada. Pay less fucking taxes. Lower your tax rates, man. Like I'm sorry, it's that easy. If you want people, if you want to grow your economy, you want players from the South to go to your country and play. Because like I said, I would play in Canada in a New York minute. I mean, without question. I don't care about the tax.
I'd take for Siberia if they had an NHL team to be in the NHL.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, to be in Canada, I'm an American kid. I grow up. Football, people talk about some linebackers ball sack here this time of year, like the biggest crap. Like, it's like, I don't give a shit about OTAs. Tell me when the fucking games are on. You know,
you
like
slide in there for Biden, man.
But I'm saying,
I'm there for Biden. The guy can't even stay upright right now. The U.S. needs a new president. I'm voting for Beard, just like Scarby just said.
Oh yeah, that's my wife though. I mean, she's gonna be supportive of me. So. But like, it's so ridiculous to me, man. Like,
our taxes are high because we have an incredible healthcare system here.
There's that too, right? Which is a nice thing, right? Like, that's awesome. We don't have the population here. We only got you only have 34 million or so.
32 million in the largest country in the world. We only have 32 million people.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard to keep the taxes down when you're looking at like LA has more people, I think, than close.
The entire country of California, the entire country of Canada has less people than California. I think there's 35 million people in California. There's 380 million people in the U.S., but I think California has like 35
380 million people, and they're nowhere near large as a landmass as we are.
Yeah, but Pearlo, a lot of the stuff way up north is not livable either. So you can count that, but it's not really livable.
Well, same here. That's the reason why we have that.
I'm talking about your country, not mine. Our north is fine.
I see what you mean. Here, yeah, they're like our northern stuff, like it's all swamp land.
You ain't nobody living in the marshes of the mosquitoes with the polar bears weighing them. You know,
that's right. Yeah,
that's unlivable land. Yeah. But yes, Canada's massive. Yeah. But I'm saying, like, if I'm an American kid, I want to play in Canada because I'm telling you, we talk about football in July. You know, it's like baseball's happening. I get that. Like, you got that. But like an NBA free agency, because if, you know, I can't be critical and a hypocrite if I'd be like, oh, I love the hockey stuff and not understand how somebody doesn't like the NBA one. The NBA one, every time I see a contract, I'm like, $300 million for Jason Tatum. I'm like, good God. If I'm an NHL player, you're so angry at the lockouts because could you imagine? Like, McDavid should be making $35 million. I heard that the Stanley Cup Final brought in somewhere in the vicinity of $350 million to the Edmonton area. They didn't win the cup, but boy, it sure didn't hurt Edmonton, right? And McDavid makes what? $12 million a year? Oh my God, that dude is underpaid. Like, he should make like $100 million. Easy.
Oh yeah. If you're talking about pro sports in general, yeah, for sure, easy that.
He should be making like 20
I just heard a basketball player 3 year, $150 million a year.
Yeah, and you never even heard of the guy
today or something like that. Yeah, and I barely I mean, I'm not a huge basketball aficionado, but he's not like a huge name, and it's like $50 million a year.
Yeah, you're like, who's this guy?
Jesus, that's crazy. I think it was George. Maybe it was George. I knew the name, but I didn't it wasn't like, oh wow, of course he got $50 million a year.
Yeah, it was Paul George with the Sixers.
Oh, he signed with the Sixers?
Yeah.
Oh, Palmdale P. That guy's a piece of garbage, dude. I don't think
$150 million for 3 years for George. Like, holy crap, dude. I mean, cool, good for him. Make all the money you can.
He's never won a championship. Okay, so let's get back to hockey talk.
By the way, losers, Winnipeg.
Yeah, you almost feel like with them, they lost out on Sean Monahan to the Columbus Blue Jackets. That's how undesirable a place Winnipeg is to live. I feel so bad for them. Shovel Dayoff has done an incredible job with that team. Always keeps them relevant playoffs.
Yeah,
I'm so amazed. I still think they're a playoff team, but yeah, I feel for their fans.
Ehlers wants out, so they're going to have to trade him. So we'll see.
They can get good value back for him, though, Pearlo. I think.
Hopefully, yeah.
Yeah, and I think Shovel Dayoff is the guy to do it because he has to do it all the time. All right, so let's finish up talking about the top available free agents. Some of these might have signed while we're BSing with you. Vlad Tarasenko. I know I've seen Joe Pavelski's name on there. Part of me really wants Joe Pavelski to just wait till the signing date thing and see who's kind of good. Like maybe the Oilers need an injury, sign with the Oilers, win a cup. Be so awesome. Just love to see Pavelski get his name.
Cool, yeah.
This felt like the same thing last year when we were waiting on Tarasenko, and he was like one of the last guys in Ottawa.
Yeah, but he signed in August to and then he got that no trade clause, or basically, you know,
it's going to happen again. Tarasenko's just going to sign somewhere.
Yeah, so speaking of Tarasenko, he's the top remaining free agent per Daily Faceoff. They have James Renwick, like Ryan Suter. I have a tough time believing anybody would sign Ryan Suter, but okay. I mean, Anaheim needs to get to the salary cap floor. So Daniel Sprong. Daniel Sprong is a guy. Bring him in. This guy, all he does is score 20 freaking goals a year. He had 18 last year, 43 points. Sign him. 3 years, $4.1 million. Bring him in, Anaheim. I believe he played for Anaheim. Actually, he's been around. Jack Roslovic, Tyson Barrie, Tony D'Angelo, Tyler Johnson, Kevin LeBlanc, Mike Hoffman, Oliver Shillington. I like Oliver Shillington, left shot guy. Max Pacioretty. If Max Pacioretty comes in shape, my thing is I think he just never got in shape for the Caps, and he just didn't look right the whole year. But if he could come in shape.
Yeah, I'd like to see the Leafs pick up Alex Nylander. He's a UFA right now.
Yeah, he's not one of their tops. And they have Jacob Vrana, Justin Schultz, John Klingberg, Kevin Lankinen, and Nick Cousins. Goalie on there is Lankinen. Obviously, he's the Nashville goalie that they replaced with whoever they brought in. I'm sorry, I think Casey DeSmith, I believe Nashville brought in. That was also a signing. Or Wedgwood, even better. Wedgwood was outstanding for Dallas this year.
Nylander's going to
injured for stretches. So go ahead, Pearlo. What were you saying?
Nylander's going to get paid. It's been a long time in the league, and he hasn't really got paid all that much. So San Jose, Chicago, something like that. Bottom feeder going to pay him up.
I think he's been with Chicago.
Anaheim. You said Anaheim needs to get to the floor. So something like that.
Yeah, that'd be a guy I would take a shot at him for sure. I bring in D'Angelo too. D'Angelo, right shot D. Tyson Barrie, right shot D. These guys are power play quarterbacks. You know, sign one of these guys. D'Angelo's 28 years old. He's not going to cost you anything. 1.75. Bring him in, man.
I would take Barrie over. I'm surprised Barrie is got so disrespected.
Yeah,
I thought he was better than a lot of the players.
Cheapy with Edmonton. Couldn't you imagine if he's back with that power play? If you figure out put him and Bouchard on the points with because he's so gifted offensively too. But I think he's a much better passer than anything else in Barrie. Man, that would be ridiculous. I would love to see him win a Stanley Cup. I'm a Barrie fan. I feel bad for that guy. He's always been kind of wrong place, wrong time. Tyler Johnson's a sneaky good one too, man. I mean, he's a little older, but that fucking guy can rip it up still. But good third line guy. I love the Shillington one. Pacioretty, like I said. Jacob Vrana can take a flyer on. Justin Schultz, I don't know. I mean, you gotta have to look at his numbers. Klingberg, what's up with Klingberg? Is he going to be healthy? He could be a sneaky good one if he's good and healthy. And then
I like Shillington quite a bit.
Shillington. What about Nick Cousins? What if you're a soft ass bitch team? You bring in Nick Cousins,
annoying little dude. Yeah, I mean, why not? Like you have to be a soft team for sure.
Catherine says Jack Johnson signed in Seabus. We actually talked about it at the beginning of the show. I'm a huge Jack Johnson fan. I'm so glad he signed with. He basically, I know he lives.
Are still hanging out. Eric Johnson signed in Philly. Jack Johnson. Both the Johnsons are still in the NHL.
Well, do you know the Jack Johnson story, Rico? And for the U.S., his parents robbed him blind, and so I've just been rooting for this kid for ever, and so he has really extended his career. And I was so happy when the Avs won the cup and he was on the roster. He's AJ Hawk's brother-in-law, by the way. So and he lives in Columbus full time. So I love this signing for him. And he was assistant captain for a long time in Columbus. He was a part of that Jeff Carter trade to LA. LA trade Jack. That's another reason I felt bad for Jack Johnson, because I feel like LA might have won those cups without Jeff Carter, although Jeff Carter was money for them in the playoffs and stuff. But Jack Johnson could have been a part of those Kings championships, and he got traded to Columbus. But he loves it there. He married his wife from there. Obviously, he lives there still, even though he's played for some other teams. So I love that he signed back. That was really cool. And Catherine Craig, who's now become a regular, I love it. Catherine, thank you so much. She's a diehard Blue Jackets fan, which I just love having. I think I've met a ton of Blue Jackets fans, and they're always just the best fans. I think they're so underrated. The Canadian media likes to criticize the U.S. fan base, but, some of these, they've never had anything to celebrate, and they have a really rabid fan base. It's really cool, man. They don't have the history that you guys have in Canada and look, man, it's been a long time since I guess, some of those Ottawa, I can't remember the last time they were good. They're starting to feel like the Buffalo Sabres to me. So, so is there a guy out there that you would sign, and then we'll go right into final thoughts?
If I had to pick someone now, I hope the Bruins bring back Van Riemsdyk. He's not the strongest guy, but he's cheap. I think he wants $1 million for the year. Yeah. He's a good locker room guy, but he was low-key pretty good on our power play for the first half of the season last year.
I agree.
Yeah, he was pretty good.
He faded in the second half of the season, which you expect a guy his age, but 35 still kicking around. And, honestly, man, he's great net front presence. I don't disagree with that, Mike. I like that one. Go ahead and give us your final thoughts.
First off, shout out to Avi. I'm going to eat my words. I said hot take, Bruins aren't making the playoffs last week. I'm wrong. I thought they would suck in free agency. That was wrong. But no, Beard, I'm going to counter you one last time. I like a team that signs a bunch of defensemen. So I said Stars are my second place. The free agency frenzy. Shall we see round 2 of the playoffs? That's
with Dallas?
Yeah, I think Dallas gets through round 1 and round 2. Will they get through round 2? That's going to be my hot take. I think they run into a heavy offensive team, whether it's Vancouver or Edmonton in round 2. And that's going to be where I feel I'll be right or wrong with all their free agency signings.
You're talking about Nashville?
No, Dallas. They'll either run into Edmonton or they run into Vancouver. Yeah, they run into Nashville. Like, they signed a bunch of D-men. They need to make use out of the D-men.
I think Dallas. I'm just not. They draft so well. There'll be some kid that comes up that we haven't heard of that just tears it up. I really think they're going to be. They could contend for the cup. I think they might be Edmonton's number 1. Right. I want to see what Vegas does yet, because Vegas, obviously, but Vegas is still very good defensively. They still have Jackie Aces. They still have some good forwards. Now, they lost Stevenson. They lost Marchessault, but I don't know, man. Yeah. I think Edmonton is the class of the West right now, and this is they're going to win next year. I bet my 401k on it. To be honest,
Canada's cursed. We all know that.
I'm telling you, man, just something about the Oilers and McDavid, and I know that Draisaitl's banged up and stuff, but he's got to change his game a little bit. They're on to him on that one side of shooting. He shoots from that same spot. He's got to change it up a bit. He's got to move around a little bit. And I say this, they still have like a 40% power play. So I just feel like if you look at their numbers, they played so well. They brought back their entire third line. I know they're going to miss Fogle a little bit, but part of me's kind of happy he won't be on the team when they win the cup, because I hate that fucking bastard for checking CJ Osi from behind in the 2019 playoffs and breaking his collarbone. So, being honest, but yeah, man, I love what they did. So, Rico, what do you got? What do you got? Who would you sign, and then go right into your final thoughts?
Dude, yeah, if I was Tarasenko, just go right back to Florida. Just sign a decent deal down there. It seems that you liked it down there, and just try to run it back with those guys. I mean, that's the thing when you win this. Yeah, I was just gonna say, when you win a Stanley Cup, man, your team just falls apart, and that's a good thing because you've won. So the guys are off making money somewhere, but losing Montour and Ekman Larson, losing guys on that team. But for Edmonton to go to the Cup final, and like you start out with the show and just brought up again, basically losing out on Fogle and Desharnais, and I can't believe they got Adam Henrique 2 years. $3 million per year, 2 year, $6 million deal for Henrique. Unbelievable. Connor Brown back for $1 million.
Yeah, the way he played in the playoffs, I thought someone was going to pay him 4 or 5.
Oh, no shit. We were just waiting for that. But yeah, even a sneaky signage they got. I know Arvidsson. Yeah, 2 years if he stays healthy, deadly. Like, just add somebody beside either McDavid or Draisaitl, but even signing that Josh Brown guy out of the Coyotes as well. That's another good signing on the back end too. So yeah, I mean, Jack Campbell's gone. He's bought out. He's going to Detroit. So
I like that signing for Detroit too. I'm glad. I think Detroit gave them
$775K. Jack Campbell, prove it.
And Jack Campbell could be, when he's on, he's one of the best goalies in the world, I think. But he's just a head case. He played pretty well down the stretch for Bakersfield if you looked at his numbers too. So, I mean, whether that translates to being in the NHL, but I just think, you know what it made me think of, Rico, in that regard with Campbell, is remember when Vegas won the cup, they went through like 4 goalies, and Aiden Hill comes in and then he stands on his head and he just threw the playoffs, so, I don't hate having too many goalies. I think it's not a bad. I mean, you're a Leafs fan. You gotta be concerned.
We just signed Matt Murray to another $1 million deal.
Stolarz might be the most important free agent signing the Leafs made, because as good as Wall is, he's had problems staying healthy. And Stolarz is a big dude, man. Like, I really like that signing for the Leafs. I think that is a great signing.
Yeah, man, we just signed Matt Murray to another $1 million deal.
I think Stolarz might be the most important free agent signing the Leafs made, because as good as Wall is, he's had problems staying healthy. And Stolarz is a big dude, man. Like, I really like that signing for the Leafs. I think that is a great signing.
That reminds me of something, Pearlo. I'd like to get your take on it when you do your final thoughts. Maybe throw this in there too. You said who's got the best goaltending coaches in the league? Which team, Pearlo?
Utah.
Well, what?
No, which hockey team besides Utah? You always used to talk about had the best goaltending coaches in the league.
Well,
lost
the Rangers.
Golden Knights, was it not?
Yeah,
Gold Knights. Golden Knights. Yeah, you're right.
Sean Burke is because you
You
thinking
always
Sean
talk
Burke used to work for the
I
Arizona
I screwed up. I don't know why I said Utah. Golden
Well,
Knights.
look, I mean, dude, like you got okay. Hold on, though. Hold on. Okay, yes, Sean Burke, amazing. Mitch Korn, unbelievable. Okay.
Yeah, no, Golden Knights. Yeah, Sean Burke is
the
goalie whisperer. And if he's going to prove it,
guess who they signed? Samsonov.
If they can get Samsonov to play, I mean, he definitely is a goalie whisperer. He is the greatest of all time.
Sean Burke.
If he can get Samsonov to be good, yeah, greatest of all time. Absolutely, no doubt about it.
By the way, wasn't Samsonov like a 989 save percentage for like 20 games for the Leafs this year? He was really good for a stretch.
Oh, yeah, he's got a stretch.
But he got injured, didn't he? He got injured. I thought that's what derailed him a little bit this year is he got injured. They sent him down for that week. He came back. When he came back, I thought he was like a 940 save percentage. So when they sent him down to the AHL, nobody claimed him, nothing. Comes back. He didn't even play in the AHL. I thought that was a great fucking move. They just gave him a mental reset. And I'll tell you right now, man, Samsonov's 26 years old, right? 25, 26. I love that signing. I do. I think that's so low risk, so low reward. Just like Jack Campbell. But I think Samsonov can actually produce.
No, like I said, I forgot about that. I don't know why I said Utah, Arizona, or whatever. Yeah, for sure. Golden Knights, for sure. Best. Sean Burke is a goalie whisperer.
Okay, well, Pearlo, who would you sign that's remaining? And then go into your final thoughts. And
Shillington. I would sign Shillington.
Shillington.
Shillington, whatever.
That's how you say it, Shillington.
That's the guy. That's the guy.
I love it. I love that signing.
That's the guy I would go with right now with who's available. And final thoughts. I'm just going to a team I didn't bring up that I should have, that I thought did fantastic in this offseason is the San Jose Sharks. I thought they made some fantastic moves with Jake Wallman for basically getting a second and like what did they send back, a fourth or something like that for Jake Wallman? He's better than Sherratt in Detroit. And you're getting freaking.
Oh, they would have probably had to give up a first-round pick to get rid of Sherratt's contract. Pearlo,
maybe, but I mean, I thought he did a hell of a job. I think Wenberg is a really good defensive a forward for that group. Toffoli, same thing, great two-way. I really love what Greer is building here in San Jose. I think you got to watch out for San Jose. I think it's going to be a great betting team for the first 20 games. I'm going to be betting San Jose at plus 180 for the first 20 games probably, because the odds makers are not going to catch up to the fact that this team is a lot better than now than they were last year.
Well, remember they beat Edmonton, and that was like the low point for the Oilers.
Yeah, I'm gonna be betting on them a lot. I really like what he's doing. I thought they could be up there with at least top 3, top 5 winners for the off season so far. So I wanted to mention that, and everything else. It's going to be interesting to see what the summer brings. I think we're still going to see a lot more trades. I agree. A lot more action.
Are we going to have to, Pearlo? Because I don't think, as the Sharks hit the salary cap floor, they're close. And Anaheim's still like 8 million, 9 million below there. So we have a question before we go. Andrew Ford wants to know where Netchus goes. He says Rangers. I don't know, Andrew. I do expect Carolina to do something. This new GM, I think he's just getting warmed up. He's just getting started. Eric Tolsky, and so I feel like he was kind of inexperienced. He probably made a mistake with Gensel and stuff like that. You like Isles are up there. Brandon Paul says, "What do you guys think about Natchez, where he goes?" Mike, go ahead.
I haven't followed him as much as I probably should, admittedly, but I think he's a 60-point guy. I think he's going to have one of those bum years, and then
yeah. But do you think where he goes trade? Like he's allegedly on the trade block. It's kind of the question.
I think he's he'll get traded, but I think whoever gets him loses. But wherever he goes, I think he's going to suck. And then he's 2 years from now, I think he's going to be great, but I think he needs to get kind of slapped in the face, if that makes sense.
Okay, Rico, what do you think, Natchez? Where would you like to see him go?
Man, bring him to Toronto. First of all, we need some more just goal scoring, man. So if he doesn't sign in Carolina, I'd like to say maybe the Leafs take a shot at him, obviously on a very short-term deal. But as far as the Isles being up there, I don't mind the Duclair signing. It's actually pretty.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Decent.
Yeah. And yeah. Okay, boys. Appreciate you, Mr. Fleury. Nice to see you. Yep, I see Portugal. Is that Portugal's flag? I don't know. I don't know the flags there. Yeah, so we'll see. Yep, we'll see. Yeah, we'll see, guys. So we'll probably meet back again next week, and then after that, I don't know. We're gonna go on probably a little bit of a break. There's not gonna be a ton of news for a while, and then we'll maybe meet once in a while. I'm gonna try to get some interviews here in the summer, and those maybe with or without the guys. But we'll definitely be back around September, as camps are ramping up. Right now, there's rookie camps and stuff going on, or development camps, excuse me. But a lot of the teams are having them. So it's going to be interesting to see how we're going to get some scouting reports on some of these players that have been drafted and stuff. That's why I'm not as concerned about Detroit, because I feel like they've drafted well and stuff. I agree with Pearlo. I will say this. I just think Brian McClellan has kind of delivered a masterclass on how to kind of be competitive and yet still draft fairly well. We've got a bunch of kids now with Leonard and Hudson and stuff in the popper. And then, you can't deny it because the Caps AHL teams won the Calder Cup the last 2 years. And we made the playoffs. And everybody's like, oh, we stink. But, we're a better team now than we were when we played the Rangers in the first round. So, it's going to be real interesting, man. And then I just wanted my final comment to be it's kind of despicable what's going on with this Jacob Trouba thing. And I think people the guy developed, he negotiated a no trade, no movement clause. Ranger fans, man, you're really showing your ass on this. It's really garbage. Yeah, the guy doesn't want to move. His wife got a residency. Okay. You know how hard that is to get as a doctor, and she's in the largest city, most expensive but highest paid city in the world, in New York. You're not going to want to move to Detroit. No offense. And he negotiated that. And what I think is being forgotten is here's a guy who broke his ankle before the end of the season and played the entire playoffs with a broken ankle. Okay. And whether you don't respect that or not, if you know anything about hockey, that is incredible, because he could have just not played. If he was in the NBA, he wouldn't have played. I'll tell you that much. Of course, harder to run in basketball on a broken ankle. I get it. You get some, advantage just skating on ice, trying to whack a little rubber disc around with a broken ankle. Come on. I just feel like it's super unwarranted, and, give the guy some respect, man. He played a whole entire playoffs with a broken ankle, and they made the Eastern Conference Finals. Really? Come on. This is awful. So, all right. Well, just be looking. I'll be dropping in when we're doing lives and stuff. It's probably next Tuesday we'll go live. We'll just see. I've got some friends in town, some friends coming in. So I just want to be flexible. But we're still trying to go 10 o'clock Tuesdays and then we'll probably take a break for about 3 or 4 weeks. Pearlo's doing check-ins though, and he's doing his little streams. I know you streamed for free agency, and then I did the impromptu free agency midnight stream, and we learned the Reinhardt news when we were live, so it was great. and Pearlo was able to jump on, and then Ryan Tubick came on and gave us a scouting report from the draft. So go back and watch that video. Leave a like, subscribe. We'll see you later. Appreciate you.